Welcome to Cozy Ask Goey and our latest WIP and Chat. I'm probably only going to be able to talk for 15 minutes or so because my children are coming home from school. It's been a calamity of not mistakes this week, but just like difficulties. I'm just trying to get this ready. I'm sorry for all the crinkling. Just want to make sure I have everything I need, and I am missing a diamond painting pen. Okay, let me find it. Sorry, one of mine broke. I think this is the wrong size of this, so just a minute. So one of my diamond painting pens has broken. I'm not sure if it was dropped or if somebody chewed it. The most likely culprit being Miss Luna. So I'm not really sure exactly. Okay, sorry, I'm getting messages from the phone company. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's missing the tip part, this part here, the metal part. So I don't know. I'm gonna work on this section. This is like the bottom left. Here's some of like, orienting yourself. I'll put a picture up. But this is the section I'm gonna work on. I may just turn it. I have to be respectful. My daughter really, I just dropped something. Oh, okay. It was just the clip. My daughter really wants to diamond paint with me after school today, so I may just turn this way and see. What do you guys think? I'm just concerned that this side over here is like gonna bump the yeah, I'm kind of a mess this week, if you can't tell, if you've seen any of my videos that I've posted. So I'm gonna do this one not like in one day, but like I'll get as much done on it as I can. I'm hoping to get both of these sections done before Thursday afternoon, and then I'll edit and post for Friday morning so that I have a WIP and Chat released on Friday is the goal. But things happen. I don't always, timing doesn't always work out. I'm not feeling super great today. I did get my second floss tube posted. Also can't find my scissors, my little ones. I did get my second floss tube posted today, so that is up on the channel as of 10 minutes ago, I think. So I'm excited about that. I did have to refilm that twice just because of exhaustion, technical issues. Not my, whew, that is so satisfying when I do that. It was just me being tired and not realizing what I was doing. Missing a cover minder. So it looks like it's pretty stable. These just came with one of my case, and I just clip them on the ends. They're not like, they don't hold it in place very well, but it's good to have kind of a little bit of a, okay, let's see if this will work. Can you see my tray? You can. Okay, so maybe I'll move it up. The problem is my son has stuff all over the table because kids, don't want that. Oh no, I'm losing my guide. I can barely see those little red. Okay, let's get started. So I haven't done a WIP and Chat in a couple weeks. And it's just because of the break. Let's start with 8, maybe. It's like this whole section over here is 8. Maybe we'll just start with the one that seems like it's the biggest. And let's see, where's 8? So, we had the holidays. That was wonderful. And everything you would expect. Here's 8. So if there's like a sudden stop and then it starts speeding up. That's because my children came home from school. I will say that now. And then I have like this old wax in here. Oh, the hotness today. I don't know. I don't know where the thing is to take that out. So we'll just use it. The break was really nice. We got to go back down to America and see all of our friends down there. Most those that were in town. I would say probably half our friends were in town, and I think I got to see almost everybody. There were a couple people that were kind of in town, but there was illness going around, which also we had colds. So, okay, I just want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, we had colds, like we're still dealing with colds. And I turned my microphone on. I did. It was just I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I have this stuffy nose going on. This wax is kind of gross. And it's just because we caught colds before we went down, and then we went down, and then everybody down there had, of course, a different cold that we caught as well. Ooh, I don't need that much. This wax is probably yucky too. So we caught those colds, and then wow. Oh, this one is like, doesn't want to go in. So we caught those colds, and then we came back and we were home for a few days, and then my oldest drove up to hang out with us for a couple days after New Year's. She hung out with her friends. Of course, when you're in your mid-20s, you want to hang out with your friends for New Year's and not your parents. And she came back after New Year's. She came up and she's like, I'm so sorry. I know that I normally wouldn't come up because I'm sick, but you guys gave this to me, and friends, it was not the same thing. Or it was, and it had evolved in the week, and we all, like my husband and I, both caught it. I'm surprised the kids haven't caught it. So maybe my husband and I had something different and the kids gave it to her. I don't know, but when your family, this is not working. When your family, you share germs. So I don't know. She was a lot of places though too. Like she was I think so she and I went to a couple events that like the boys didn't go to. The girls went to a couple of events that the boys didn't go to, and vice versa. So we could have picked up something else. Any one of us could have, and maybe the kids just they're kids, so they didn't show it as much. But the younger two had really bad coughs. None of the rest of us got, I guess, all of the children, my oldest, including the youngest two, and the youngest two, all three of my kids got this cough. I didn't get the cough. My husband didn't get the cough. But we both definitely have like congestion today that we didn't have last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess now. So I don't know. We all tested negative for COVID. I didn't test anybody for RSV, but I had the kids tested for strep before we went down. They did not have strep because my oldest is pretty susceptible to strep for some reason. Like when she gets it, she gets a really, really scary case of it. So I didn't want to pass that on. If that's what we had, we would have stayed home up in Canada and just waited until we were better before going, which would have been like 2 days, right? Because strep, you take antibiotics and within 24 hours you are no longer contagious and you are fine. So we would have just like stayed an extra day or two up here. But it was good. I felt very like not centered. It was really weird to like have Christmas not okay. If I need to edit that sneeze out, which I probably will, so I'm sorry there was a pause. But like weren't able to do our tree until we got down there because I didn't want to do like a huge tree up here and a huge tree down there. It was too much work. So we just did this is not working out, friends. I'm having such a hard time with static in the house. There's too much wax in here now, so it's like kind of bumping up. But so we didn't do our tree until we went down, and then we didn't even actually end up doing a tree because we're still like, we downsized down there. My mom's house is much smaller, and then we combined like a bunch of people's stuff into one small house. It's a very small house. It's like a starter home, a 1950s starter home. So we realized when we got down there was nowhere to put the tree, and so we just sort of like, the TV stand is our old like TV stand thing, and it's like these shelves, and we just kind of put all the presents in the shelves, and then it wasn't really a tree. And then up here I haven't brought any of our ornaments up, so I just had the kids like decorate the tree up here with some like Legos. My son made a bunch of Lego creations and stuck them on there, and then he was decorating with things that he made. And so it was kind of nice to have the kids kind of take ownership of that, but at the same time, like, we put stockings up, but I couldn't find the stocking holders. Like, I just felt very disorganized and messy, and I don't like that feeling. I have tried to go through the Christmas stuff down there a few times because I have my Christmas stuff and all my mom's Christmas stuff, right? My mom left all of her stuff there when she moved out. So it's a lot of organizing. So I was very disoriented with all the holiday stuff, but I kind of liked not doing like the whole tree, if I'm honest. The one we have up here is very small, and I think next year we probably will be. I'll have to look at the calendar. I think maybe we can stay up here next year, and then go down for New Year's, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't really want to do New Year's down there though, because my neighbors set up lots of fireworks down there, and they don't do that up here. It's legal, and they actually follow the rules. There was a few fireworks, but it wasn't bad at all. It was not like the neighbors down there. So I'm having so many problems, friends. Like, this one's upside down. I'm sorry, you guys have to watch me struggle. It's a struggle kind of week. I don't know. I don't feel good. I'm tired. My face hurts. Like, I'm hoarse. Look, I just lost that one. Okay. So this is one of the ones that has the putty in it. Every time I turn it up, I always turn it up too far, and then there's like putty everywhere. Okay. I didn't do it too far that time. So anyways, I hope you guys had a good holiday. I did enjoy my time down there. I just wish we weren't so sick. And I also wish we could have seen more people, but it's okay. It's been kind of like, I posted on Threads this week that I'm really missing like my not my family, but like my community down there. Everyone up here is super nice, and I love it. But my kids have been at the same school for almost a decade, like 8 or 9 years. And so, we'd known everybody at the school. We've known them since the kids were all little. All our kids were little together. That kind of like shared experience, I would say. And to come up here, and everyone is super nice, but there's some cultural differences up here, just with the way play dates and stuff. And like, it's hard when you come from somewhere else with the kind of different expectations and all that, and not knowing everybody since they were in preschool, like having conversations with during parent teacher conferences, and having to be like, yes, I understand that all these 7th graders, or 8th graders, or whatever grade it is, all the kids have known each other since they were little, but my kids came from an environment, it's really shocking for them to come from an environment where they've known everybody their entire lives, to an environment where everybody else has known each other for their entire lives, but they have not known each other, like they're the new people. So, and I don't think that people up here are, like, our kids aren't being excluded, but when you hit a certain age, like, you're busy. Like, my kids are busy, even if they had their friends that they've known forever. Like if we were at our old school with the schedules that they have, they probably would not be getting much more. I mean, they wouldn't be getting much more like play date kind of social time. But, you know, down there, a lot of their friends do the same activities as them. So it was really weird. I was at my one of my kids' swimming lessons on Monday, and literally all the parents were paired up and they all knew each other. Like, which I think is fabulous that they're all kind of like doing the same activities with their kids. They can just like have a good like social hour. Like their kids all clearly went to the same school. They all had known each other. They were all talking about their holiday plans and what they'd done over break. You know, it was the first day back after break. And I was so happy to see that, right? Because everyone gets along. Like people were friendly with each other. It sounded like some of them were like they knew each other, but they weren't like super close friends, you know, like they were so friendly and nice to each other. And it was like this hum of conversation with all the parents that was going on during these kids' swimming lessons. And all the kids were so excited to see each other. And it was so great to see. But at the same time, I was sitting there by my lonesome, not talking to anybody. Like, it was kind of like, which was fine. Like, I wanted to sit on my phone and do nothing because I didn't really want to socially interact. So even if they had been talking to me, I probably would have been less talkative. But it was just kind of weird to not be, you know, to not be part of that in the same way that I was before. So, but people up here are very nice. They're very friendly. It's just, you know, we're not established. And I've heard it takes a couple years to really break into social circles when you move to other countries. So I'm not worried about it at all. Like I talk to my friends all the time. Like today I've texted with multiple friends. So like I got my first text message at like 7:30 this morning from one of my friends. Like I talk to my friends all the time, but it's just different when you're not, you know, you're not when you go to activities, you don't know everybody there. Like it's just a different kind of experience. So it's not bad. It just, you know, it kind of struck me this week. Like I didn't realize like it was kind of bothering me until I was at swimming on Monday. So, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever moved. So little background, like my mom's house is in the small town, not small, but like smallish city that I grew up in. So, you know, I have lived in the same area my entire life. I lived in the north side of a neighboring city. Um, that's where our house was that we sold. And, you know, it was really only 15, 20 minutes away from my house, my original house that I grew up in. So, you know, I was going to the same stores. I was going, you know, I knew the history of like what store was where and what was before and what, you know what I mean? So it's kind of been different for me to grow, to be somewhere. And my husband too, like my husband and I have known each other since we were children. We went to high school together, but we were not together in high school. We were just friends. So, but we've known each other our whole lives and we've lived in the same area our entire lives. And I'm really glad we made this move because I'm really glad that my kids also had this experience, you know, of moving somewhere else. Honestly, I probably would have wanted to do it when they were a little bit younger. I really wanted to move to the East Coast, like Vermont, before my middle daughter went to kindergarten. After my oldest moved out and was stable, like she was in a job and making enough money to support herself and all of that, I would have loved to have moved to the East Coast for a few years. Just to kind of like, just for something different, you know? Like, I think it's good for people to get that perspective of living somewhere else. So, I don't know. I'm rambling about that, but I'm glad we moved. I really am. I'm not saying I'm not glad. I'm just, it's different. It's different up here, and it's not different in a bad way. But it makes me think that maybe we should try moving somewhere else in a few years, like being here for a few years and then somewhere else. But then I think that maybe that would be too much for the kids. You know, maybe we should just travel a little bit. And then I definitely am thinking of moving somewhere else after the kids go to college. So I don't know. My oldest was horrified. She has spent the last 6 months telling me about how she wants to move all over the country away from where we are now. And then she's horrified that I want to move somewhere else after everybody's settled into college. So I don't know. I think there's something to be said for having a home base, right? Like if we move somewhere else, then her home base would be shifted and all of that. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. But if she's watching, I'm not like upset. I just think it was interesting that I just think that's really interesting. So, but you know, some people move every few years, and I don't know. My dad was a military brat. And Grandpa was in the Army, I think, and he moved a lot, and I think it was hard on him. So I don't want to move too much, but I mean, right now we're close enough in to our old place. You know, we didn't move that far away. It's only a few hours, so we can still visit whenever we want, and we visit all the time. So I did get my post up. Okay, now that I've gotten in the groove of this, it's going a lot faster. I think I just needed a moment, a moment to find my footing. I did post my cross stitch whips and then my state of the stash, or not state of the stash. I need to film my state of the stash. I'm going to go back down and grab the last of my diamond paintings next week at some point. I'm going to visit my mom. I miss my mom. I talked to her today. And then I will film a state of the stash. Once I have the last few, I think I have 6 or 7 of them down there I need to grab. So I'm going to grab those next week, and then I will film my state of the stash. I'm probably going to be absolutely horrified by how many diamond paintings I have. So this week I'm kind of trying to catch up. For my refresher stash, oh, I'm so excited. I worked a lot on Witch Kitty Brew yesterday. I want to finish that one. I love Witch Kitty Brew so much. I love dark purple. It's like my favorite color. So, and it's not too dark. There's a nice mix of colors. It's not like it's all dark, which I like. So I don't know if you guys have done that one. I know that Diamonds by the Row, her daughter did that one for around Halloween. I'm slow, so I didn't get to finish it by Halloween. But I think other people have done it too. So my refresher stash is Lisa Crafts and Tells. She's doing that. I'm sure there's a Facebook book group that I need to join. I just haven't done it yet. So I should probably do that. But I'm going to try and get through 10 of my older diamond paintings this year. So I started buying diamond paintings I looked it up, and it was like the beginning of 2023. And some of the ones I bought, though, were older canvases, right? They had been like, I bought a lot of the mystery. Oh.